Hi, this is Anil with a video tutorial for the Learning Led on C programming. So in this video tutorial we're gonna see the break statement in C. So this break statement has mainly two uses in C. The first one is it is used for immediate termination of a loop, and another one is to terminate the case condition in the switch. So in this tutorial we're gonna see how we can use this break statement and what happens when we use that break statement. So for the demonstration purpose we're going to use a for loop. So that's why for a for loop we need a counter variable. So I'm going to create it. It's going to be int counter, and I'm going to write my for loop, and here inside this for loop we're going to initialize a variable that's going to be counter equal to 1, then counter less than or equal to 10, then counter plus plus. So within this for loop we're going to use the printf statement, and we're going to write that value of this counter. It's going to be %d, new line, and refer this counter variable. So next, after this for loop we're going to use another printf statement, and we're going to say after the for loop. So this is it. Save it, compile it, and run it. As you can see here, the program printed the number from 1 to 10, that is the value of the counter. So when this counter value became 11, this test condition failed. That's why the control came out of this for loop, and it just continued to execute the next statement which are present in the source code. So that was the printf statement after the for loop. So that's why it's printed that, and then it just terminated our program here. So as you can see here, this for loop just terminated when this test condition failed. In our program now we want to terminate this for loop, let's say when this counter variable becomes 5. So for that purpose we're gonna use the break statement. So first we're going to use this if statement to check whether this counter variable is containing the value 5. So it's going to be if, then counter equal to 5. If it is so, then we're going to break this loop. So when this counter value becomes 5, this break statement will be executed, and the control will come out of this for loop and continue to execute the statement after this for loop. So it's going to print the values from 1 to 4, and when this counter value becomes 5, it's gonna break this for loop. That's why it's gonna come out of this for loop, and it's gonna continue to execute this printf statement, and then it's gonna terminate our program. So I'm gonna save it, compile it, and run it. So as you can see here, it just printed the values from 1 to 4. That's the values of counter variable from 1 to 4, and when this counter became 5, it just break that for loop. Then after that it just executed the statement after the for loop. So you can use this break statement in the while loop and do while loop also. Another use of this break statement is you can use it to terminate the statement of a case in the switch. So the usage of this break statement in the switch statement we're gonna see in the tutorial about the switch statement. Another thing about the break statement is if you are writing a loop inside another loop, or if you have a nested loop. For example, you have a for loop inside another for loop, and your break statement is in the inner for loop, then this break statement will gonna terminate the inner for loop only, and the control will continue to execute with the next iteration of the outer for loop. So this is it. This is about the break statement in C. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next tutorial.